Today's topic, tapping on fear. Welcome. I'm Sandra Griff. As an energy movement facilitator, I help you move your energy. I clear your clutter, mind, body, soul, and home. If you wouldn't mind giving me a hand, please comment or ask a question. If this topic resonates with you, please let me know. I'd love to address your concerns. Your questions and comments could end up as a future topic. Over the next few weeks, we'll be talking about fear, anxiety, and procrastination. These three topics are closely tied. If you have fear, you most likely are anxious or procrastinate. Anxiety tends to come with procrastination. So there will be a crossover with the tapping. We are only born with two inherent fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. All the rest are learned. And I don't think I know anyone who can say they've never been afraid. Fear is a primal instinct. It's not something we control. It's something we lessen after we feel it. There's nothing wrong with feeling fear. Fear can save our lives. Fear is first and foremost a survival mechanism. That primal instinct was very useful hundreds of years ago when we were being chased by tigers. When the senses detect a source of stress that might pose a threat, the brain activates a cascade of reactions that prime us either to battle for our lives or to escape as quickly as possible. It's a reaction that's known as the fight, flight, or freeze response. Fear is regulated by a part of the brain within the temporal lobes known as the amygdala. When stress activates the amygdala, it temporarily overrides conscious thought so that the body can divert all of its energy to facing the threat, whatever that might be. And the modern world comes with a number of stresses that early humans never faced and could never have imagined. Financial burdens, performance anxiety, and a number of other social pressures that can generate fear and anxiety. I sure hope I turned my microphone on. This release of neurochemicals and hormones cause an increase in heart rate and breathing. It moves blood away from the intestines and sends more to the muscles for running or fighting. It pushes all the brain's attention into the fight or flight freeze mode. The problem we encounter today is a lot of our fear is manufactured. If you watch the news on TV or on your news feed on your phone or through Facebook, every day you will find something to be afraid of. They'll tell you what you need to be afraid of. Maybe it's a reported crime close to your home. Maybe it's unrest halfway across the world. And if there isn't really anything to be afraid of today, well, then they tell you to be afraid anyway. Fear is built right into the sound bites. They say, watch this story at 6 o'clock to find out how to save your life. Who wouldn't want to save their life? Fear is our way of life these days. It's just something we live with. And we are constantly on high alert. We get that rush of hormones when called into our boss's office or being confronted by an authority figure, like a policeman or a border crossing guard. We may even feel fear when having to confess something to our partner or our spouse. Then there's the fear of heights. Animals, lightning, somebody running after you in a dark alley, and spiders. Generally, people have some kind of a fear response to those kinds of things. So my spider story, I had a paralyzing fear of spiders. They terrified me, which, I mean, they're little itty bitty things and I'm not. But they terrified me. So one day I was walking from my dining room into my kitchen and I noticed this movement out of the corner of my eye. And I looked up and there's this spider right above me. Well, I screamed and I backed up, and I screamed so loud I hurt my throat. That's a pretty loud scream. I screamed so loud I scared the spider. You have to scream pretty loud to scare the spider. How do I know it was scared? It curled up into a little ball and stopped moving completely. So it's in the corner, wedged between the ceiling and the wall. And I'm watching this spider. My heart is beating fast. I'm sweating, I'm shaking. I've knocked over the cat's dish because I was in such a rush to get backwards. I didn't know where I was stepping. So I was in full panic mode, and I'm watching this spider. And I'm thinking, I need to get that spider out of there. But how do I get the spider out? I can't make it move, because if I try to get it out of there, it's above me and it's going to fall on me, and that's not going to do me any good. That's just not going to happen. So for 3 hours, I watched that spider. I gravitated between the kitchen and the dining room, paralyzed. I couldn't do anything else until I controlled that spider. Once the spider started to move about 3 hours later, I was finally able to get it out of my house. And yes, I killed it. I'm not quite as easy to kill them these days, but at that point, I needed to remove the spider. So I killed the spider. But it took 3 hours. It took 3 hours away from my life. And I was in panic mode the whole time. Because what if I lost sight of the spider? It was going to get away. There was another time when I was in full-blown panic as well. That's when 9/11 happened, September 11th, 2001. My daughter was in about grade 11. She was actually set to go to New York in October on a field trip. And we were all so excited. I was excited for her. But 9/11 happened. And I'd sent her to school and turned on the TV, and I watched in horror as that plane crashed into the Twin Towers. And I just kept watching that image over and over and over again all day, and listening to every broadcast there was. And by the end of the day, I was in, again, full-blown panic mode. I was terrified, even though that event happened 3,000 miles away. Because what the news was doing was speculating as to what could have happened, how it happened, why it happened, without having any real information. And all of that excess questioning, all of that excess information, all of those possibilities just kept flooding me with fear. By the end of the day, when my kid got home from school, well, I wasn't sending her to school again. I mean, she needed to be safe and protected with her mother. That was just it. No more school for her. It was completely unreasonable. And I didn't recognize that until the third day of keeping watch on what was happening in the world. So for 3 days, I kept vigil at the TV, watching all of these newscasts, watching these horrific sights over and over and over again. And it filled me with fear. After the third day, I thought, this is crazy. I cannot live my life being tied to the television. I have to stop this. So I turned off the TV. It took about 2 more years before I realized that watching the news was not good for me. And I don't watch the news anymore. But there is this need to know. And as when we have this driving need to know everything that's going on, and we get that information now, whether we want it or not, it causes fear. It causes panic. Because there are so many things in this life we can't control. We forget what we can control. So these days, there are no tigers. But our systems are in constant fear and anxiety overload. And we have manufactured so many things to be afraid of that we live in this constant state of fear and don't even realize it. Most people are not paralyzed by the fear like I was, but like stress, they learn to function despite the fear. While pushing through can definitely get the job done, it does nothing for your bodily functions and can throw all kinds of things out of whack, like your blood pressure, your blood sugar, the absorption of nutrients into your body. It's flat out stress. Once you've been in that state for a long time, you no longer recognize you're in that state. It becomes normal. And the difficulty being, under that constant pressure, those chemicals and hormones flood your body, preventing normal function. Tapping can help with that. Tapping calms the amygdala, and it removes the fight or flight response when fearful, when you're in that attack. When you calm your primitive brain, everything in your body starts to function better. So today, we're going to do some tapping to relieve fear. Whatever fear you have. It doesn't matter if it's life-threatening fear, fear of spiders. Tapping can help you calm down. And if you're not fearful right now, that's okay. I want you to think of something that makes you fearful. Bring it up and feel it in your body. Where is it in your body? Where are you feeling it? It doesn't have to be a paralyzing fear. It could be the fear of asking for a raise or the pressure from a task you need to complete. Next, I want you to rate your fear from 1 to 10. 1 being no fear. 10 being crawling out of your skin, fearful. If you're less than a 5, I want you to consider choosing something else to think about. Something that makes you a little more anxious. You can post your numbers in the comments. Now, it may seem like I'm trying to make you fearful, but what I'm really doing is just asking you to pull up something that's already there. And once you have that fear rated, I want you to take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and blow it out. So I'm going to tap, you tap along with me. I'm going to tap on the points and then say a phrase. I want you to repeat the phrase after me. So first we're going to tap on the eyebrow point, right where your eyebrow starts. Repeat after me. This fear. And move to the side of the eye. This fear in the pit of my stomach. Repeat after me. Under the eye. This fear that gives me a headache. Under the nose. This fear is making me sick to my stomach. Chin. I just want to run and hide. Collarbone. My body does not feel good. Wrist. I don't like feeling this way. Top of the head. I can feel my blood pulsing. Back to the eyebrow. I am so fearful. Side of the eye. This is so not fun. Under the eye. I am not enjoying this feeling at all. Under the nose. But I don't know how to stop it. Chin. This fear just wells up in me. Collarbone. And I don't understand it. Wrist. I don't know where it's coming from. Top of the head. I am so afraid. Eyebrow. I can feel the fear. Side of the eye. I can feel it in my chest. under the eye. I can feel it in my stomach, under the nose. I can feel it in my head, chin. I can't shake this feeling. You'll notice that sometimes I close my eyes when I'm tapping. That's just because I get more concentration that way. Collarbone, and I have no reason to be afraid. Wrist. I'm not being chased by a tiger. Top of the head. I'm not in mortal danger. Eyebrow. I don't get why I feel this way. Side of the eye. And I don't like it. Under the eye. Even though I'm really scared. Under the nose. Would I be willing to bring peace to this fear? Chin, and work towards calming down. Collarbone, this feeling of fear. Wrist, I can tell something is happening. Top of the head, but I'm not sure I like it. Back to the eyebrow. I definitely don't like how this feels. Side of the eye. All of this fear in my body. Under the eye. There is so much change. Under the nose. Hanging on to the familiar. Chin. Just because it is comfortable. Collarbone. But comfortable does not always mean good. Wrist. I wonder if I could expand. Top of the head. And just take care of myself. Eyebrow. Letting in new, calm things. Side of the eye. And staying present to check. Under the eye, just allowing these things to come in. Under the nose, it is all so new. Chin, I wonder if I can let peace in. Collarbone. It is so scary. Wrist. But I want to feel better. Top of the head. I want to feel less fear. Eyebrow. Allowing this calm to happen easily. Side of the eye. Because I really do want it right now. Under the eye, so that I feel more comfortable with this calm. Under the nose, relaxing into this experience. Chin, knowing that I am safe at home. Comma, collarbone, safe at home in my body. Wrist, with ease and joy and grace. Top of the head. I can do this. Eyebrow. I don't have to feel fear. Side of the eye. I can feel joy. Under the eye. And I choose that now. want you to take a nice deep breath and blow it out. Now I'd like you to check in with your fear. For most people, it should have gone down. If it's gone down to a 1 or a 2, you can probably manage that. If it's still above a 3, you can keep tapping until it comes down. Post your number in the comments. I'd love to know how it worked for you. The emotional freedom technique is about moving that emotional energy, the fear, anxiety, and pain. So when you're tapping on an emotion, you are focused on far more than the words, and it is the emotions you're tapping on. Don't worry about the words you're using. In fact, you don't even need to say anything. You can just focus on where the feeling is and tap on that. So just focus on your stomach. If that's where you're feeling the fear, focus on your stomach. Just focus on your stomach. Just focus on your stomach. Tap on that. For example, this knot in my stomach, this knot in my stomach, this knot in my stomach, this knot in my stomach. You also don't need to worry so much about the order. If you tap at your eyebrow and you tap on under your nose and you tap on your collarbone, the order is not nearly as important as tapping. And if you really like the collarbone point, my collarbone is my go-to. And if I'm anxious in the vehicle, that's where I tap. So if you found a spot that feels really good for you, you can just tap on that when you're in desperate need. Usually within 3 to 5 minutes, you can feel some relief. So what we did here today is relief. It's just relief. It's like taking a painkiller for a headache. The emotional freedom technique can offer long-term fixes when the core reason for the issue is addressed. Oftentimes, the EFT practitioner can help you discover the core issues more easily. If you'd like more information, you can contact me through Facebook or my website. Please post your comments and questions. Your feedback can help shape future topics. Have a great day.